There we go. All right. Good morning. Good morning. I am Kim Bomberger, and this is Women on the Rise. Here is where we talk with inspiring, empowered women who are dreaming new dreams, creating their legacies, and building their empires. Women just like you, women just like our guest, Micki Woodford, who is here with us today to talk about all things sleep. So Micki is a fitness professional who helps others to fall in love with, I love that part, to fall in love with a healthy lifestyle and to maintain that healthy lifestyle. So Micki holds multiple certifications in fitness and nutrition, and she's held many leadership roles in the wellness community. And when I was talking to Micki a couple of weeks ago, I think we were just talking about how important sleep is. So I invited her to come on today and talk about that topic with us. So welcome, Micki.
Hi, thank you so much. This is an honor.
Thank you so much for being here and yeah, for putting up with our shenanigans. We were having trouble going live in our group today, but you know, we are women who are empowered and we don't give up. So we're going to find a way to get the job done. So well, first of all, Micki, why is sleep so important?
Well, we all know that we need sleep. Sometimes we just don't understand why we need sleep and why it's so important. And I'm going to talk about 4 things right off the bat that might be surprising to most of us, why sleep is so important. And the first is that it's while you're sleeping, your immune system produces protective infection-fighting substances. They're called antibodies and cytokines. It uses these substances to combat foreign invaders such as bacteria and viruses. So sleep deprivation, that's another name I'm going to be using for poor sleep. So sleep deprivation prevents your immune system from building up its forces. If you don't get enough sleep, your body may not be able to fend off invaders, and it's going to take longer to recover from illness. So not only are you susceptible to getting sick, but if you do get sick, it's going to take you a lot longer if you're not getting good sleep. The second one, and maybe people know that, but a lot of people won't know this one. The cardiovascular system is super important, obviously, to our health because it controls our hearts and keeps us alive. But you may not realize the role that sleep plays. And the sleep affects processes that keep your heart and your blood vessels healthy, including those that affect your blood sugar, your blood pressure, and inflammation levels. So it also plays a vital role in your your body's ability to heal and repair the blood vessels. So if you don't get enough sleep, you're more likely to get cardiovascular disease. And in one analysis linked insomnia to an increased risk of heart attack and stroke.
Oh my.
So, two really important ones, fighting disease and cardiovascular system. The third one is depression. And so we all know right now it's discussed a lot more. Now it's on the rise. A lot of people are dealing with depression for a variety of reasons. But research has indicated that depressive symptoms may decrease once your sleep apnea has been effectively treated and sufficient sleep has been restored. So sleep apnea, we were talking this a little bit before we got on, the importance of having that diagnosed and treated. But for sleep, it's bad sleep and depression go hand in hand. So that's just another good reason to get good sleep is to fight depression, especially if you're susceptible to that or that runs in your family even. The last one that I was going to talk about why sleep's important is type 2 diabetes. That's a huge epidemic in our country. But insufficient sleep is linked to an increased risk for development of type 2 diabetes, specifically sleep duration and the quality of sleep that you get. And we're going to talk about all of those things today. But there's emerged predictors of levels of hemoglobin A1C, and that's an important marker of blood sugar control. And those research is suggesting that optimizing your sleep duration and quality are important means of improving your blood sugar control in people with type 2 diabetes. So not only prevention of, and also care of if you have it. That sleep is that important.
So when you say getting enough sleep, what is an optimal amount of sleep for women? And in our group, we are mostly women in our 50s and over. And I think that could possibly even change as we age. But what would you say for our kind of demographic is optimal?
So when you hit an adult age, which is in your mid-20s would be when the number changes, it's between 7 and 8 hours of quality sleep each night. And when we don't get enough of those sleeps, I mentioned the chronic health problems start emerging, the high blood pressure, diabetes, stroke, heart disease, and depression, but one is also obesity. And so, not only not getting enough sleep, and we'll talk about the obese. Let's talk about weight, because as you get, I'm 48, so I'm knocking on that door. We see our metabolism slow. Life just gets complicated, and we just start to put on the weight slowly, and it almost seems like this uphill battle.
Right.
There's no reason that sleep quality, sleep duration should to that uphill battle. So we really should get to 7 hours and 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep. So if I can just carry on to sleep deprivation. So again, that poor sleep affects our mental abilities, and they're not as good as they should be. If you have not enough sleep, because we talked about why it's important, but this is like a real tangible thing. Some of those other issues are maybe being almost more like possibility health issues. They're kind of not right here in your face sometimes, but you're going to have a shortened attention span, slow reaction times, poor memory. You're going to increase your errors, reduce your concentration, and you're also susceptible to injury. All of those things are going to affect how you do at work, your relationships in and out of the house, your friendships, and your recreational activities.
Absolutely.
So it's important to get the 7 to 8 hours of sleep just to function well each day.
Well, and I find too with older people that I talk with, getting enough sleep is a problem. We tend to be up, sometimes wake up and are awake for extended periods of time and that kind of thing. So it gets more challenging. I think the older we get, it's more challenging to get in those hours. So what tips do you have for us to help us kind of navigate that a little bit and make sure that we're getting good rest and good sleep?
Well, I don't want to be a bad guy, so I'm going to probably say a few things that people aren't real thrilled with. One is to be consistent in your sleep. So that is go to bed at the same time every day. Yes, on the weekends. Yes, during the holidays. Yes, on vacation. So go to bed, wake up at the same time, no matter what. The second one is to have a routine. So I can't really emphasize the psychological benefits of having a routine. And there are some really good studies out there about important having routines in different areas of your life. It's no different when it comes to good sleep. So I like to kind of suggest that making your room a sanctuary of sorts. Clear the clutter, make your bedroom someplace you want to visit, not dread. So I make the bed every single morning. Right when I get out, first task is make the bed. It's not where I dump stuff. It's not a holding space. It's got great lighting, a comfy comforter. So you want to make your bedroom a place that you want to go. Good temperature, light, low lights, clear the clutter, invest in the comfortable, ambiance, so that you want to spend time there. While you're getting ready for bed, I just suggest dimming the light. So if you're preparing for this routine, dim the lights to reduce the effect of light on your melatonin. Have a clean room. Have your sleep routine, no matter what that is. And I'm happy to share mine because it's pretty elaborate, but it sets your mind when you have a routine to be like Maslow's dogs. I always think of when he rings the bell and pours the food, even when there's no food, the dog is thirsty. So it's the same with a routine in the bedroom. You're going to start to kind of get drowsy because you're going through the steps that help prepare you for bed.
Well, I'd love to hear your sleep routine.
Huh?
I'd love to hear your sleep routine.
Well,
tell us all.
In my bedroom, I told my bed's made. I don't have all my clothes are put up. The room is I turn the lights off. I have a little night light, soft light. The first I turn down the bed, just like I'm at a hotel.
Turn down service. I love it.
I have spritz my bread with my lavender. And so that's before I go into the bathroom. That's when I change. I put really comfy clothes on, take the bra off and put my warm PJs on, brush my teeth. I do all the stuff. And this is the time before you head back into the room. That the lights are low here too. Don't snap on all the lights. If you can manage it on the lowest lighting is best because you're prepping yourself for sleep. Brush your teeth, wash your face, take your meds or whatever you got to do at this point. Prep for sleep, go potty. And then when you head back into that space, you're ready and you have taken your bedtime routine, taking all of those steps in the same order. Once you're hitting that sack, I would say that's what we say, hit the sack, you are really close or should be close to going to sleep.
Okay.
Notice that did that not include the television?
So no televisions in the bedroom. You would advocate no TV in the bedroom.
Right. There's a great mnemonic. Everybody likes the great mnemonic device. And so there's a great one. It's for the sleep rule. And it's 10, 3, 2, 1, 0. So think of 1, 0, 3, 2, 1, 0. 10 hours before bed, no more caffeine. Have your last soda, coffee drink, 10 hours before bed. 3 hours before bed, no more food or alcohol. So that's 3 hours before you're going to go to sleep. No more food or drinks. 2 hours before bed, no more work. Shut it off. Don't take any more work phone calls. 2 hours before bed, work's done. 1 hour before, no screen time. That's if it has a screen. Your phone, your computer, your TV, iPad, Switch, whatever. Turn it off 1 hour before bed. And then 0 is the number of times you hit your snooze button.
Okay.
So, having that, remember, being consistent with what time you go to sleep, what time you wake up, having a sanctuary that you look forward to, and then using that 10, 3, 2, 1, 0 is going to help you improve your sleep heading to bed.
I love that. Those are all fabulous tips and they're easy to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for sharing that. So I guess it's kind of along the same lines, but so it would be probably the opposite of that. But are there any other habits? And I know habits are such a big deal for positive and negative habits that we can get into, but which ones would you say are the ones that hinder our ability to rest the most?
So I did hit on it a little bit, which is the removing the electronic devices. Not just turning them off when you head into the bedroom or putting them away. I mean, some of it is like, how can I wake up? But my phone is my alarm clock. So I get having it in my room, but turn off the notifications. Don't let that be a reason why you wake up in the middle of the night because someone notified you on Facebook or sent you a message. Just turn off your notifications. There are phone settings, play with them so that they are, allowing the alarm to work, but not, receiving phone calls. Okay. So that's the first thing, is just to leave the electronics alone. Don't pick it back up once you're in bed. So let's say you're asleep, you hear that, you pick it up, or you wake up, which we'll talk about it more. You wake up, don't pick the phone up to help you go back to sleep.
I'm so guilty of that.
Yes, we've all done it. I know it. And I always regret when I do. When you wake up, it can also cause you to have stress. Reading emails, you're bringing work into your bedroom in the middle of the night, or news stories and negative social media information, and all of that adds to the stress of already not getting sleep. So you just don't want to
it gets your brain going too, right? Like it just gets you thinking again.
It has the opposite effect. You think you're going to get drowsy reading something and going to sleep, but it actually has the opposite effect. It wakes you up. And so all of my research, this is the most emphasized, crucial element to getting good sleep, is to remove the electronics. Every doctor, researcher, fitness expert, all of them agreed on this one thing. And that is, if you plug it in or you charge it, let it go.
Okay. So let me ask you this then. If you wake up and you're not picking up your phone and you don't go back to sleep, what do you do instead, I guess? So instead of picking up your phone or doing something, what can you do to help yourself get back to sleep?
Okay, so that's a really good thing. And there is, in the moment, there's a lot of things that probably led to you being awake at this point. We're going to do more of addressing those preventative things.
Okay.
For each of us, really just laying there wide awake, that's, unfortunately, there's a lot of, closing your eyes and counting sheeps, really, that's never worked. Reading like in low light, trying to read a book would probably be my best suggestion, because that's going to stay on, and it's most likely not going to be negative.
Right.
It will make your eyes tired. If you can't lay there and sleep, there are good apps, and I hate to, that's the opposite of having but an app that you listen to that has a meditation or scripture or whatever, you soft music on a timer. That is again, worst case scenario. I hate to even go there because, but I know some of us will get there. I'm going to address more of the preventative things. Okay,
let's do it.
But that's okay. There are ways to go back to sleep. One of those is large meals, caffeine, and alcohol before bedtime. Food and sleep go hand in hand. And this is when we were talking, one of the things that came up, everybody talks about, yes, you need to eat well, and yes, you need to exercise, but everyone forgets how important sleep is. And all three of these, if I had to make them all equal, or all three, they're all coincide together. So when it's kind of like a house of cards, when one of these aren't strong, it's just not a strong house. So food and sleep. So if you're eating a nutritious diet, it plays it plays a significant role in your optimal sleep. When your diet is high in saturated fat and low in fiber, you're less likely to get deep restorative sleep. Too much sugar can actually wake you up throughout the night.
Oh, wow.
So cutting out the sugar is, so
those late night snacks are not good.
No. Remember that mnemonic device. The biggest problem that alcohol has, and I know so many people use alcohol to lure themselves to sleep, or a glass of wine before bed. Can't live without it. It does make you drowsy. It is a depressant. However, there is an effect of alcohol on your body that once your body processes those sugars and finishes processing that in your body, it goes through that system, there's a switch that flips on. You wake up, and that's not what you want. So you are going to get a few hours of sleep, and then you're going to have you're going to have this awake and a wake up moment, and it's going to be difficult to go to sleep. Alcohol has a negative effect on REM, that REM, rapid eye movement sleep. That's really, really important. So my suggestion is 4 hours. I know the mnemonic device says 3, but I would say 4 hours before bed, limit it to 1 drink and make that your last one. And then the last really good tip is to avoid naps. And so I kind of walk the fine line on this. If you get 7 to 8 hours of good sleep and you feel, and so a lot of older people are kind of in this category, and you still take a little cat nap, go for it. However, if you're in the category where you're not getting good rest and 7 to 8 hours of sleep, do not take the nap. My suggestion is find something to do. Make a phone call, stand up, listen to some loud music. But I know there's that 4 o'clock, 3 to 4 o'clock.
That slump.
People just like, oh, I just need a couple. Avoid it. If you can get in the habit of skipping that nap, you're going to prepare yourself for good deep sleep later on. And that's what we're looking for. That's what we're talking about. That's when all of those things I mentioned, your immune system and your cardiovascular health, depression, all of those things, you want those things to have optimal, tools in the toolbox. So if you can avoid the nap, I would highly recommend skipping the nap. If I can just kind of add to what I was talking about, you asked me about the great tips, but I want to just carry it on and I talked about how fitness and good diet and sleep all go together. And it is kind of like a spiral that once those things are not, that you're not eating well, you have a sedentary lifestyle, and you have poor sleep habits, you're going to see like a domino effect where the spiral starts to have impacts of chronic illness. And I've mentioned this, removing the sweets, late night snacking, and alcohol, but I also want to talk about physical activity, that we should aim for 30 minutes of physical activity. And that does not mean fitness per se. Physical activity is being active physically. So that can be running the vacuum and picking up the house. That's raking leaves, cutting the grass, going for a walk. Anything where you're physically active does not mean you got to be on a treadmill or lifting heavy weights. And so what the goal is to get 30 minutes of physical activity is going to have an impact on your sleep. You're going to have a good rest. And based on literature, sleep deprivation may also contribute to weight gain. So I kind of hit on this earlier, but individuals who sleep less than 7 hours a day have a higher BMI. And that is your body mass index, and overall higher prevalence to obesity. And now there are so many reasons, and it's kind of debated amongst researchers as to why this is, but it is across the board. It could be because of lack of physical exercise and activity. It could be because you've got more time to eat.
Okay.
You're not getting your core temperature high enough. And so all kinds of hormonal influencers on hunger and satiety can be affected. And so not getting good sleep, which I always kind of crack up, like, that's the best way to lose weight, right?
Sleep it off.
Go to bed. So, and the answer is yes. So get good sleep, and you're going to see that those are the things that you can kind of see how they start to stack.
Right.
You're not getting enough sleep. You're awake. You're awake. Now you're hungry. You snack. You try to go to sleep. You're watching TV. That keeps you awake. It's just kind of, and then next, you're not nobody eating carrot sticks late at night, And so your chronic illnesses, you can see how those kind of like, those are all of those things are exasperated by poor health, poor fitness routines, bad diet, and now you have bad sleep when all of the things that help repair it are good rest. You'll have all of this, spiral quicker when they all come together. However, the positive is that if you get your 30 minutes of physical activity, you work on your sleep habits, that routine, cutting your food and snacks off earlier, You're going to be tired because you didn't take a nap, yet you're not drinking alcohol. You're ready for bed. You're going to find that you're more rested. And then you're going to see the spiral change directions. So there is a way to turn the tide. It just means a little discipline, you know, that consistency with bedtime, all of those things can move, and you're going to see the caloric reduction. So
right. Oh,
right?
yeah, it's a win-win. And really, when you think about all three things, sleep seems like it should be the easiest thing to start with, right? And then because if you're rested, then you'll have more focus to plan better meals, and then you'll feel better for getting your physical activity in and all of that. So if you had to start with just one thing, it seems like sleep just sounds like an awesome place to start.
I totally agree. Some people really dread going to bed because it's not enjoyable. And one of those reasons is, as I know, as we approach older age, waking up during the night to use the restroom and all of those different health living disruptions can make it seem a little more like dread than it is, you know, the sanctuary I mentioned earlier. I said cut the food and drinks early. That is going to help you with avoiding the multiple bathroom breaks at night. I suggest, I mentioned keeping the low light. For safety, you have to have a light, but use it sparingly. I actually have a toilet light that clips on the toilet.
Oh, I didn't know they made those. That's
I don't flip any lights on. I walk towards the light, you know, at night. That way you don't have to flip anything on and off. You know, you go right back to bed. Take your diuretics if you have to in the morning, and using compression socks. So if you've not got a pair of those, it helps with fluid retention and distribution.
Really?
Distribution, yes. So that's that routine I mentioned. If you lay in bed and you're getting drowsy, put the legs up. So it's going to elevate the legs, grab a couple pillows. This is going to actually help you with fluid distribution as well. Practice good pelvic floor exercises. And if you don't have those, there's plenty of resources. I mean, I do Kegels at stoplights.
Right. Go Google. Do it. Yes.
Pelvic floor exercises. This is going to help you with the number of restroom visits. Again, you're removing some of the liquids and fluids at night. So this should also help. But your body, I would say you might have a habit of waking up. And as you see that you're taking these steps in good sleep habits, it might take a while for these habits to kick in. So like I mentioned, the routines, having a routine, you might have the routine of waking up in the middle of the night, and I just want you to kind of evaluate it, pause and ask yourself, do I really have to go to the bathroom? And then, because you might not, because you're making some of these changes, it might just be that your body is used to waking up in the middle of the night. So give yourself some patience, you know, a little bit of grace in this situation, because it might take time to cut some of these restroom breaks out of your routine. But those are some of the suggestions that I would make to help cut out those extra bathroom breaks in the middle of the night.
Those are all great. And I think you're right. I think sometimes it is just habit. And the other thing, I love the tip about having just a very dim light, because, you know, I just know when I wake up in the night to have to use the bathroom, I'm like, stay asleep, stay asleep. You can do this and stay asleep.
You're walking like
don't think.
So we mentioned sleep apnea. If you feel like you've done all of these tips, you have cut out the alcohol and snacks, and you're exercising, and you've got your routine down, and you just checked off everything on the list, but you're still feeling like you're not getting good sleep or rest, go talk to the doctor. This is not a cure-all. What I've suggested are just really good tips on helping a starting block. Really talk to your doctor, ask for a sleep study, but don't put it off. Because of those chronic health issues, this isn't something to play around with. Your sleep's important, and I really want to say, take it seriously. Sleep quality, it needs to be a priority, and it's not selfish. It's
No,
something that
you
you
are
should really.
absolutely right. And as someone who personally, I do have sleep apnea, I do sleep with a CPAP, but I do know that when you have sleep apnea, you are literally stopping breathing all night long. And your body goes through this whole fight or flight syndrome because you're just really trying to stay alive. And you might think you're getting 8 hours of sleep, but you're not really, because you're not
No.
fully waking up, you're just stopping breathing. And so it's so dangerous and it's so easily treatable. But even with sleep apnea, I have issues sometimes sleeping through the night. So all of these tips will also be helpful,
Yes.
just to make a complete like system for, getting great sleep. But yeah, it's all important.
Yes. And remember, turn off your phone, make
Oh,
the bed, make your rooms a place you would like to go every single night, because you spend like half your life there.
I
So
know. And I
make it
love that. I love
special.
the tip about the whole like turn down service. You can think about it like
Yeah.
that. Like, this isn't something to dread. This is something really special in your beautiful getaway where you can
Mhm.
go to have the best night's sleep ever. I love
Yeah.
that.
Kim, is
Oh,
there any other questions that you have for me about sleeping or something
yeah,
I
no,
missed?
you have just given so much fabulous information, Micki. I so appreciate
Oh,
it. And I know with our little glitches with technology this morning, we're putting you a little bit later than we thought. So I am going to wrap this up. I will put all of your contact information on it. It will be on YouTube. It will be in my email. It will be in our Women on the Rise Facebook group, and there you can connect with people. So if anybody is seeing this after the fact and would like to connect with Micki, she can she can answer your question. She's a part of that group, and I know she would love to help you out further with this. So Micki, it's been my pleasure. Thank you for your
thank
patience
you.
with our slow start this morning, and thank you
No
for all of the
problem.
incredible tips.